Hello friends, today in this video we will see how to create a Windows virtual machine in Azure. Now to create the virtual machine, the first step is we need to log into the Azure portal. So now let me just navigate to the browser. So here what you need to do, you need to log into the Azure portal. For that you need to type portal.azure.com. You can able to see it here, right? Click on that. The moment you will do that, it will actually ask you for login with your user ID and password. Since I have already logged in multiple times, so it is by default taking the user ID and password from the browser cache itself, and it is logged in now. So you can able to see this is my credential details, right? And sign out is enabled. That means I have already logged into the portal, right? So once you log into the portal, you can click on this show portal menu, right? On the three bar on the top left, right? And here, if you see here, you can see here virtual machines under this all services, right? Just mouse over on the virtual machine and click here plus create option, right? On the drop down you choose virtual machine. This is one way. Now the other way is what you can do, you can search here virtual machine. You can search here virtual machines. The moment you will search that, you will see under services virtual machines. Click on the search result virtual machine under services. Click on that, and then you will be redirected to this compute infrastructure virtual machines page, right? Here you can able to see all your existing VMs, right? And if you want to create a new VM, what you need to do, you can click on this plus create drop down and choose the virtual machine option. So now here you can create a basic virtual machine which is best for lower traffic workloads. You can able to see it here, and once you will create a basic virtual machine, say going forward your traffic will be more, then in that case, you can also attach one virtual machine scale set, that is BMSS, which you can create directly also as a second option, right? The third thing is you can also create a pre-configured VM designed to optimize memory capacity or for general use. The final option is you can also create a hybrid and pre-configured high volume solution. So basically, if your volume is so high, you can also create a hybrid pre-configuration and high volume solution. So based on the choice, you need to pay for that, right? So now what we'll do as the demo perspective, we will create a base, right? Lower traffic workload, right? That is the first option, the virtual machine. We will create that. I will just click on that. The moment you will do that, you can able to see we are redirect to create a virtual machine page now, right? Here, few details you need to fill. The first thing is you need to select the subscription you want to use here. For me, there is only one subscription. If I click on the drop down, you can able to see only one subscription is available for me. In case you have multiple subscription, you can select the subscription that you want from this drop down, right? Now by default for me that is selected the single subscription that I have. Now coming to the resource group, you can able to see if I'll click on this resource group drop down, there are multiple resource group that I have already. I can either use any existing resource group or you can also create a new resource group by clicking on the create new link, right? So say I will go here and select an existing resource group. I can select like this, or else what I can do, you can click on the create new, provide the name of your resource group, say I will say Azure lessons new, right? And I will say click OK, right? The moment I will do that, you can able to see it is a new resource group selected here, right? Now you might be thinking, what is a resource group exactly, right? So basically here if you'll see resource will just act as a container to hold your resource, right? Suppose if you'll see an example, suppose we have multiple departments in a company, right? So for each department we will create one resource group that will hold all our resources, right? For that particular department, right? Suppose Azure Lesson NW is a resource group which we have created for the IT department in our company, right? Not for HR or not for finance. So what I'm trying to tell is this resource group. So whatever resources we will create, like a virtual machine, we can also create any other resource. During the creation of the process, we will choose this particular resource group for this particular IT department, right? So that means when I'm telling IT department, so all the resources will belongs to this particular resource group. So in that case, it is easier for you to track. Suppose department wise you want to check all the resources or list of resources available, right? You can directly go to that resource group and check what are the resources that I have created for this particular department, right? So similarly, for the finance department, I will have a separate resource group that will contain all the resources related to that particular department, right? So in this way, you can separate different department with the help of the resource group that will contain exactly the list of resources that belongs to the same department, right? So this is all about the resource group. Now, coming to the virtual machine name, we will provide a name for the virtual machine. Before that, let me tell you, on the create a virtual machine page, there are some red star mark or asterisk mark is there for some of the options, right? So these are mandate field basically, right? Now, and other things are optional, right? Now let's provide a name for the virtual machine. I will just provide, I will say Azure Lessons Team VM. So this is my Azure Lessons Team VM. This VM belongs to my Azure Lessons team, right? Now the next thing is region. That means in which region or location you want to create your virtual machine, right? So if you click on this drop down, you will see many regions where Microsoft has deployed their data centers, right? There only you need to create your virtual machine. So if you'll see here, I will just go with the West US 2, right? For me, this is the region, right? Now those who are belongs to India, say you belongs to India, you can able to see there is a specific Central India option also, Asia specific Central India, that also you can select if you belongs to or your virtual machine belongs to India, right? So I will go with this West US 2, right? Now the next option is availability options. Here let it be availability zone, and zone options let it be self-selected zone, right? And here availability zone is you need to select multi, you can also select multiple one, but I will go with the zone one, right? So when we are telling availability zone, that means these are actually physically separate and isolated data centers. Basically the idea is to prevent the outage, right? So these are very powerful, isolated data centers inside a particular cloud region, right? So I will select zone 1 here. You can also select zone 2, zone 3 based on your requirement. And the security type, let it be trusted launch virtual machine. Now you can see here the image you need to select, which is important, and this is mandate also. Here you need to select the operating system, right? So what we are selecting here, we are selecting here Windows Server 2025 data center generation 2, which is the latest one, right? And you can also select the Azure edition, data center server core edition. It's up to you. I will select the normal one. Here once you will select this, you can able to see ARM 64 is not supported with the selected image because this is a Windows server, right? OS, and this one AM64 belongs to your Linux server. If I'll change it to any Linux one, say I will change to Ubuntu server, you can able to see this is enabled. Now you can select ARM64, but since our requirement here is to create a Windows virtual machine, I will go here and I will choose Windows Server 2025 data center X64 generation 2, and I will choose 64-bit as the operating system, right? Now what you need to do, you can select the size. This is the size which is mandate, right? So here you can go with multiple option. You can able to see it here, right? All the sizes. If you click here, see all sizes, it will show you all the size as well. So based on your budget and all, and based on your size requirement, RAM size, data disk size, you can choose the one you need, right? So if you'll see here, here is the cost per month. You can able to see it here on the right side, right? Now what I'll do, I'll just close this and I will go with the minimum one, right? 2 GB memory, right? The standard one I'll go because this is for demo perspective I'm using, right? Now, this is quite important, administrative account or administrator account. Here you can just provide your username and then the password and then confirm password. I will just type the username as Raskishore. I will something password I'll give, right? And then confirm password I will also type the same thing, right? So you can able to see. So this is quite important, guys. Remember that while connecting your virtual machine, once you will create this virtual machine, you need to connect it, and during that time it will ask you username password. The same username password you have to use there, right? Keep these things in your mind, right? Once we will create this, we will utilize this administrator account details to log into that particular virtual machine, right? Then inbound port rule, right? You can choose the public inbound ports. So it is suggested to allow the selected ports, right? So select the allowed selected ports here and select the inbound port. So here what I'll do, I will select the RDP 3389, which is the default option as well. So basically what is the need is when you will RDP a machine or connect this particular virtual machine, it will ask you this particular port, right? Via that only you can able to connect to that particular virtual machine, right? So once we will connect, you will come to know about this. So this is basically inbound port we are allowing. This is 3389. This licensing part, I'm not going to change anything. Let it be the default one, right? I will click on the next this option. I'll just, so what it is trying to tell is Azure detected there are other region, size or zone recommendation that may lead to higher chance of successful deployment. I will just ignore at this point of time, right? Now on the disk, you need to choose the disk size and all, which is important. You can able to see OS disk size. And here I will go with this image default one, 127 GB. You can select it from here because I am doing it for demo perspective. I don't want a bigger size. So I will select that one. And then by default, the OS disk type is premium and locally redundant storage. I will not choose the premium one. I'll go with the standard one because I am doing it for demo perspective. So based on your requirement, you can choose the premium SSD and standard SSD. All this with the description, it is available. You can go through that and you can choose it, right? So what it is telling best for the production and performance sensitive workloads, that is premium SSD. So basically whatever you will choose based on that you have to pay also. So just make sure that which will fit your requirement, you choose that. So for me it is standard SSD locally redundant storage. This is for demo perspective, right? And delete with VM, you can just select that. Now these are all optional options, right? You can go with the default option, and if you want to create and attach a new data disk, that also you can click on create and attach a new data disk. Once you have, your requirement is more and you're doing lot of stuff there and you need a bigger size and all, so you can attach a new disk as well, right? You can also attach an existing disk by clicking here, right? Now what we'll do, we'll not go that deep here and I will just go ahead and click on the next networking tab. Now coming to the networking tab, you can able to see when creating a virtual machine, a network interface will be created for you, right? So here is the virtual network. Inside that your virtual machine will run, right? So you need a virtual network for that, and I will just go with the default option, which will by default it will create based on the virtual machine name. It will and the region name. It will try creating a virtual network for you, and again inside that you will also create a subnet for you, which is defaultly also it will create. If you want to edit or modify something, you can click here edit virtual network or edit subnet, right? Then public IP you can choose if you want. This is optional. And the selected inbound ports we have already selected 3389. I will go with the same option 3389, right? None these options are optional. Again, enable accelerated networking if you want. Delete public IP and NIC when VM is deleted. So if you choose this option, what it will do is Once you will delete your virtual machine, it by default will delete this public IP related to that particular virtual machine and NIC details, right? That is the network virtual network details, right? And then load balancing option. If you want to choose, you can choose Azure load balancer or application gateway. If you want to place your virtual machine in the backend pool of an existing Azure load balancing solution, right? Or else you can just choose the non option. I'll go with the non option. I don't want to do that stuff. I will click on the next management option, right? So you can able to see here Microsoft Defender for cloud. For this is basically for the security perspective. If you want to change anything or if you want to use anything, say Microsoft Entra ID, you want to log in with Microsoft Entra ID, you can just select this, right? And then auto shutdown, you can enable or disable. Better to enable, always enable this auto shutdown option, right? And shutdown time you can mention, each day it will auto shutdown during that particular time, right? And before that it will just send you an email saying that notification before shutdown, you need to check this. These are quite important, guys. And the email option, you have to mention what it will do before shutdown. It will send a notification saying that at this time this VM is going to shut down, right? So you will get notified before that. Once you are not using, it's better to shut down, right? Why you need to pay unnecessarily? So you can just enable these options and provide your email ID, which will notify you that it is going to auto shut down. And these things are also you can configure once after you create the virtual machine. It's not like that you have created the virtual machine and this is one time job. No, you can after VM creation also you can reconfigure these options based on your requirement. Okay, now backup, enable backup if you want to do, and these things also you can select, right, based on your requirement. For time being, I'm not going to do any changes here. If later required, I can go to the virtual machine and I can edit the configuration, right? Now, what I'll do, I will just click on next monitoring tab, enable recommended alert rules. Again, these are optional based on your requirement. You can select this. You can able to see boot diagnostics. If you want to enable this, you can enable these options as well, right? Enable application health monitoring, enable OS guidance diagnostics. The moment you will enable, based on that, it will give you option, mandate option to select, right? The storage account you need to select in this case. And if you don't have a storage account, you can also click on the create new button or link to create a new storage account, or defaultly it will also create a new storage account with this particular option, right? And same way health you will choose. So you need to configure the protocol, port number, etc. All these things you need to configure. Click on by clicking on this configure option. So I will just disable this. I don't want this currently. And then I will click on the next advanced option, right? Here also nothing is mandated. You can able to see it here. If you want to use any of the option based on your requirement, you can choose that as well. Now click on the next tag option. Here, if you want to use any tag, you can provide the name and value pair, right? I don't want to do that currently. So what I'll do directly, I'll go ahead and click on the review plus create button. The moment you'll do that, what it will do, you can able to see running the final validation. Remember that after you click on the review plus create button, it will validate all the details entered by you, whether they are correct or not, right? So once it will correct, it will show you validation passed here with the green tick mark. You can able to see on the top. That means all the options that we have entered are correct. There is no issue with that options, and you can cross check these options here. If you want to change anything, you can go back to the previous tab, click on the previous tab, go to each tab and fix those options or modify those options. In case you have any error, it will show you validation error here. That time also you can click on the previous button and go to each tab and fix those errors. It will show you which tab the error is, right? And with which option as well with the red color. So you can go to that particular tab and fix that error and then come back and again you click on the review plus create. Will again validate, it will show you validation passed. Then the create button will get enabled. Remember that unless and until the validation will pass, the create button you won't able to see it here. Okay, it will show you the error only. So now validation is fast. Just we'll go ahead and click on the create button. The moment you will do that, it will take just few seconds. You can able to see it started initializing the deployment, right? So it will take few seconds to create the virtual machine. So now you can able to see the deployment has been completed. So what you can do, you can just expand this to see the deployment details. If you want, I will just click on the go to resource to navigate to our newly created virtual machine. I'll click on go to resource and you can able to see Azure Lessons Team VM is now ready. The status running. You can able to see it here. The status is running now. So inside this virtual machine, there are a lot of configuration we can do. So I have made separate videos on this configuration part, right? So all the video links I'm going to put it in the video description. You can go through each video and configure the virtual machines once you have created. Now, as part of this demo, what you'll do, this is your virtual machine and this is the details of your virtual machine. And able to see this is the resource group, this is the status, location it belongs to, whatever we have chosen. If you'll see your availability zone, zone 1 we have selected that time. And the OS detail you can able to see it here. Windows operating system with the Windows Server 2025 data center that we have chosen if you remember, and the size details, all the details over here you can able to see it here, right? On this different each tab you just select, you can see many things, and on the properties tab you will see all the details. Now to connect the virtual machine, what you can do, you can click on the connect drop down and select connect. The moment you will do that, you can able to see it is showing me the source virtual name in OS is Windows. This is the IP details, right? And this is the public IP of your virtual machine. This is the local IP of this virtual machine, and VM port that we have selected if you remember 3389, right? And you can check the access using the check access button. Now connect using RDP file that we have selected, right? So here I will say click on download RDP file. I will just click on that. The moment I'll do that, you can able to see it is already downloaded now. I'll just click here on the RDP file, and here you just need to say don't ask me again for this and click on connect. The moment you will do that, it will ask you, you can able to see by default it took Rajkishore, and it will ask you the password that you have entered. If you remember, we have provided the username as Rajkishore and password as I have entered some password. I will just enter that password, right? I will say remember me. I will click on OK and I will click on yes. The moment I have done that, you can able to see you have successfully connected to these virtual machines with the IP is this one. Now you can able to see successfully connected to the virtual. Accept this. These are some default notification to send some logs to Microsoft, right? I'll just close and I will just minimize this just to show you that we have already connected to the virtual machine, and here is the virtual machine which is a Windows type, right? You can able to see it here. These are the default applications that are already installed in your virtual machine. Click on the cross mark, right? And you can able to see your remote session will be disconnected. I'll just click on OK. So this is all about creation of this Windows virtual machine, guys, using Azure portal. That's it for today, guys. I thought to show you how to create a Windows virtual machine using Azure portal, and we have discussed the complete steps. So thanks a lot for watching this video. If you found this video little helpful for you, kindly subscribe to our channel to support us so that you will get lots of free Azure virtual machine tips, Azure DevOps tips, Azure tips, different helpful Azure PowerShell commands, Azure CLI commands, SQL Server tips, Google Drive tips, and many more. Thanks a lot again, guys, and have a nice day. Bye bye.